Why was it you who was born to be rejected, humiliated, and despised by your own parents? Why were other children playing happily while you walked on eggshells, begging for crumbs of love? Why were you chosen to carry the pain that should have been the entire family's? If you feel you've been cursed since birth, Carl Jung discovered the devastating truth behind this, and it will free you forever. You're not crazy for thinking this way. How many nights have you lain awake wondering, why me? Why was I born into this family? While your schoolmates complained about annoying parents, you were being psychologically destroyed every day. You saw other families hugging in the park and thought, what's wrong with me that I don't deserve that? And it doesn't stop there. You grew up believing you were defective, that there was something fundamentally wrong with your soul. Your parents made you feel like a mistake of the universe, a cosmic accident that only brought problems. You internalized this lie so deeply that even today, when someone truly loves you, you suspect it's false. Have you felt that tightness in your chest when someone treats you with kindness, as if you don't deserve it? Have you cancelled good relationships because you couldn't believe they were real? Have you sabotaged yourself when things were going well because, deep down, you believe happiness isn't for you? Have you caught yourself thinking that love always comes with a price to be paid? This isn't your fault. This is programming. Your narcissistic parents installed a mental virus in you that constantly whispers, you don't deserve love, you don't deserve peace, you don't deserve to exist. They engraved these messages so deeply in your psyche that you believe they are absolute truths about who you are. But Carl Jung discovered how to delete this virus forever. A modern perspective, deeply inspired by Carl Jung's concepts of the collective unconscious, reveals something that 99% of psychologists don't know. When we apply a spiritual lens to Jungian studies, a shocking truth emerges. You weren't unlucky. You were chosen. And what I'm about to reveal will turn your life upside down and transform your greatest wound into your greatest strength. Carl Jung's work on the collective unconscious opens the door to a revolutionary understanding. Through decades of studying family patterns, a truth emerges. Certain special souls choose to incarnate in difficult families even before they are born. This isn't divine punishment, it's a spiritual mission. You didn't come to Earth to have an easy life. You came to break ancestral patterns that have been repeating for generations. There are 3 types of people in the world. Those who came to live normal lives and learn basic lessons. Those who came to conquer material things and experience worldly power. And those who came to break ancestral patterns and elevate collective consciousness. You're part of the 3rd group, the chain breakers. Do you know why your narcissistic father or mother chose you as the main target among all the children? When we apply Jungian concepts of individuation, we discover that your soul emits a different, higher frequency. Jung's studies on psychic energy reveal that he called this the light of individuation. Narcissists instinctively feel this light and become obsessed with extinguishing it because it exposes the deep darkness that dwells within them. You weren't rejected because you weren't good enough. You were rejected because you were too good. Your natural purity, your heightened sensitivity, your capacity to love unconditionally threatened their fragile and sick ego. They needed to destroy your light to feel superior and maintain the illusion of power. The truth nobody told you is this: you were purposefully placed in that toxic family to be the savior of the family lineage, not the eternal victim, the savior who breaks generational curses. A modern analysis of Jungian studies on dysfunctional families reveals a universal pattern. In every narcissistic and toxic family, a different child is always born. A child who refuses to accept toxicity as normal. A child who questions the lies, who feels deeply, who dreams of something better. This child suffers more than all the others, but is also the only one with real power to break the destructive cycle. Your siblings adapted to the toxic system because their souls came for other simpler lessons. You couldn't adapt because your soul came specifically to destroy this sick system. That's why you always felt different, as if you didn't belong to that family. That's why you could never just accept things as they were. You weren't being difficult or problematic. You were being faithful to your cosmic mission of transformation. If this is making your soul vibrate with recognition, if you're feeling chills or tears in your eyes, you're not alone in this journey. There are thousands of chain breakers here on this channel who have gone through the same painful mission as you. When you subscribe to the channel, you're not just supporting content. You're strengthening a sacred community of brave souls who came to break generational curses. Do you know why I make these videos? Because I too am a chain breaker. I knew this pain in the flesh, lived in my own skin this feeling of being cursed. I spent years thinking I was defective, that there was something fundamentally wrong with me, until I discovered Carl Jung's transformative concepts and understood that my inadequacy was actually my spiritual superiority manifesting itself. And I discovered that when we share these truths inspired by Jungian work, we not only heal individually, we heal the entire family tree. Each person who awakens breaks chains not only for themselves, but for hundreds of people around them, including future generations. Subscribe to continue this sacred journey of liberation. We are a chosen family of brave souls who came to change the world. Now I'm going to reveal which of the 3 types of chain breakers you are, based on a modern perspective inspired by Carl Jung's deep studies on family archetypes. Pay attention because this will explain everything about your life, your patterns, and your true mission. The first. If you've always been the most sensitive in the family, if you felt everyone's emotions around you as if they were your own, if your mother or father dumped their traumas on you as if you were an emotional punching bag, you are a cosmic mirror. A spiritual perspective inspired by Jung's work on special souls reveals that these people come equipped with the supernatural ability to absorb and transmute negative energy. You weren't chosen to be the family's emotional garbage collector by chance or bad luck. Your soul has the divine power to transform poison into medicine, darkness into light. The problem is that nobody taught you how to use this power correctly. You grew up thinking you were too sensitive, too fragile for the world. But in reality, you are a natural, emotional alchemist. Each tear you cried because of them was literally cleaning centuries of trauma from your family lineage. You were doing ancestral shamanic work without even knowing it. Do you know why you can immediately feel when someone is lying? Why you perceive people's true intentions even before they open their mouths? Because you were trained since childhood to read subtle energies to survive in a dangerous environment. Your hypersensitivity is not a defect or weakness. It's your superpower developed through adversity. The second, if you always questioned the family's lies and contradictions, if you were the only one who saw through the masks and pretenses, if they called you problematic or difficult because you didn't accept being manipulated, you are a truth bearer. Jungian concepts about truth bearers reveal that these revolutionary souls come equipped with an internal falsehood detector impossible to deceive. You were born to expose family hypocrisy and reveal inconvenient truths. That's why they hated and feared you so much. You were a constant threat to the elaborate lies that supported the entire dysfunctional family system. You weren't a rebel without a cause or an ungrateful child. You were a tireless warrior of authenticity, living in a family of professional actors. Each no you said, each boundary you tried to establish, each time you refused to participate in the collective lies, you were planting powerful seeds of freedom for the next generation. Remember when you questioned the family's official versions of traumatic events? When you said, "But that's not how it happened," and they called you crazy, a liar, or unbalanced. You weren't crazy. You were fulfilling your sacred function as guardian of the truth. Your memory is reliable. Your perception is accurate and sharp. Stop doubting yourself right now. The third type. If you always felt like a complete alien in that family, if you constantly dreamed of a completely different life, if you deeply felt that you came to create something new and revolutionary in the world, you are a creator of new worlds. Carl Jung's work on visionary souls shows us that these people come to inaugurate a completely new way of loving, relating, existing on the planet. You were systematically rejected by the family because you represent an evolutionary future that they can neither understand nor accept. You are the living bridge between the toxic old world and the conscious new world being born. Your chronic inadequacy in that family wasn't a defect or problem. It was pure spiritual evolution. You couldn't fit into the toxic mold because you came to create a completely new and healthy fit. Each time you courageously refused to perpetuate the destructive patterns, you were building brick by brick a more loving and conscious reality. You always intuitively knew there was an infinitely better way to live, to love, to relate to other human beings. This deep intuition didn't come from nowhere. It came directly from your soul that perfectly remembers how things should be in the ideal world. You are a direct ambassador from a higher dimension who came to teach true love to a world that has completely forgotten how to truly love. Now that you finally know which specific type of chainbreaker you are, you need to understand exactly how to use this transformative knowledge to completely free yourself from the shackles of the past. Inspired by Carl Jung's work, 3 specific and powerful techniques have emerged for this, based on more than 40 years of deep studies on the human unconscious. Technique 1. Every time your conditioned mind automatically says, "I don't deserve love," you will consciously respond, "I deserve infinite love because I suffered so much and still kept my heart open." A spiritual perspective inspired by Jungian concepts reveals that our greatest wounds always contain our greatest hidden powers. The brutally rejected child becomes the adult who loves unconditionally. The systematically humiliated child becomes the adult who values human dignity above anything else. Start this revolutionary practice today. When that familiar inner voice whispers that you are defective or inadequate, immediately remember, you were consciously forged in the sacred fire of adversity to become absolutely unbreakable. Your pain is not your eternal curse, it's your divine credential. Each deep emotional scar is a medal of honor that proves your extraordinary and supernatural strength. Do this transformative exercise today. Take a sheet of paper and write in detail all the exceptional qualities you've developed specifically because of what you suffered. Your deep compassion, your heightened intuition, your supernatural ability to detect manipulation, your Herculean strength to survive the impossible. See clearly how your pain has shaped and transformed you into an absolutely exceptional human being. Technique 2. Carl Jung's studies on the family shadow show us that we need to talk directly to the collective shadow of our family. All those unresolved ancestral traumas that were transmitted to us through generations. Your narcissistic parents weren't naturally born that way. They were systematically broken and deformed by consecutive generations of unhealed pain. You were specifically chosen to break this cursed chain once and for all. Do this liberating exercise. Write a detailed letter to the collective trauma of your family lineage. Tell it with authority. I completely recognize you. I deeply honor the pain you caused in past generations. But I am precisely the one who breaks this destructive cycle for it stops here with me. With me, this pattern definitely dies. You don't need to forgive your parents to completely free you. Forgiveness is not a mandatory prerequisite for total healing. You urgently need to forgive yourself for having unnecessarily carried their heavy baggage for so long. From this moment on, you drop that heavy ancestral suitcase on the ground and walk absolutely free to create your own reality. The Jungian concept of individuation teaches us about the courageous journey of completely separating from the toxic collective psyche of the family and becoming authentically who you really are. When you definitely stop carrying ancestral traumas, you release an absolutely incredible amount of vital energy to consciously create your own extraordinary life. Technique 3. This is the most powerful of all. Completely rewrite your personal history. Instead of, "I was cruelly rejected," write, "I was carefully selected for a special mission." Instead of, "My family destroyed me," write, "My family strengthened me infinitely beyond the normal measure of any human being." Mach. Consciously take the worst moments of your childhood and completely reinterpret them. That terrible day your father publicly humiliated you in front of everyone. That was exactly the day you deeply decided never to humiliate any human being. That devastating time your mother coldly rejected you when you most needed affection. That was precisely when you definitely learned to give yourself the infinite affection you always deserved. Inspired by Jung's work, a powerful practice emerges that he called finding the pure gold hidden in the trash. Every terrible experience inevitably contains a golden lesson waiting to be discovered. When you consciously change the internal narrative, you automatically change the external destiny. You immediately stop being a passive victim of your story and become its active and conscious hero. The final truth about your purpose. Here's the final truth that will completely shock you. You weren't placed in that dysfunctional family by chance, bad luck, or divine punishment. You were strategically placed there because your soul was exceptionally strong enough to survive that extreme toxicity and still miraculously maintain your natural ability to love. Think seriously about this. How many people do you personally know who have gone through much smaller traumas and become completely bitter, vengeful, emotionally closed? You literally went through psychological hell and still have genuine compassion in your heart. That's not weakness or naivety. That's absolutely supernatural strength. A modern analysis of Carl Jung's work on hundreds of cases identical to yours reveals an absolutely revolutionary conclusion. The most evolved souls consciously choose the most difficult and painful experiences because they know they can transform this raw pain into refined wisdom that will help all of humanity. You are not a random victim of cruel fate. You are a conscious agent of evolutionary destiny. Each tear you cried, each endless night of insomnia, each moment of total despair was meticulously preparing you for something infinitely greater than you can currently imagine. Do you know what the fundamental difference is between you and the person who had a normal and functional family? They learned about love exclusively through what they easily received. You learned about love painfully through what you did not receive. And that transformed you into an absolute specialist in recognizing true love versus false love. People who had everything easy since birth don't know how to genuinely value peace. You, who intimately knew destructive chaos, know that peace is literally the greatest treasure in the entire universe. They don't know how to detect subtle toxicity because they never needed to develop defense mechanisms. You developed an absolutely sharpened intuition that automatically protects you from destructive relationships. They may have had seemingly happy childhoods, but you possess something they will never have: the extraordinary ability to transform pain into power, trauma into wisdom, rejection into infinite compassion. You are a natural emotional alchemist. That is your unique and non-transferable evolutionary advantage. Your true spiritual mission was never to be happy and accepted in that toxic family. It was to courageously learn to be happy despite that family. And now that you have not only survived but also awakened, your mission is to show thousands of other people that it is also absolutely possible to free yourself. Each time you consciously choose healing instead of revenge, you are fulfilling your divine purpose. Each time you offer genuine understanding to someone who is suffering, you are completely justifying all the pain you went through. Each time you firmly refuse to perpetuate the toxic patterns you learned, you are literally saving the next generations. Jungian concepts about cosmic healers reveal to us that some special souls come to Earth specifically with this mission. You are definitely one of them. Your mere conscious existence in itself is already a powerful act of rebellion against everything that is destructive and unconscious in the world. You are unquestionable living proof that love can survive the most intense hatred, that light can overcome the deepest darkness. And do you know what's most amazing about this journey? Now that you finally understand your true nature, you will never again feel alone or abandoned. Because you will automatically recognize other chain breakers around you. You will find each other magnetically, recognize each other instantly, support each other mutually, and together, you will consciously create a new collective reality based on true love and expanded consciousness. Your deepest wounds have become your most refined wisdom. Your most intense pain has become your most authentic power. Your family rejection has become your cosmic selection. You are no longer that helpless child desperately begging for love. You are an absolutely powerful and conscious adult, capable of abundantly giving and receiving true love. The transformation is finally complete. If you've reached this point of the revelation, it means your soul has deeply recognized the liberating truth. Now I need you to do something specific for me. In the comments, write only, "I am a chain breaker," if this message genuinely touched your heart. You don't need to explain your entire detailed story. Just that powerful phrase. It's our secret code of mutual recognition. And if you know someone who urgently needs to hear this truth, someone who is still unnecessarily blaming themselves for being born into a toxic family, share this video immediately. You might literally be saving someone's life today. You might be delivering to someone the golden key to liberation they've been desperately searching for years or decades. Always remember, your pain had a divine purpose, your survival had an evolutionary purpose, and your healing also has a transformative purpose. You are not here by mere chance. You are exactly who the world urgently needs you to be. The world was literally waiting for you to break these toxic ancestral patterns and show an infinitely better way to exist. Subscribe to the channel to continue discovering these truths inspired by Carl Jung's revolutionary work that transform pain into genuine power. And always remember, you are no longer a passive victim. You are a conscious hero who won the greatest battle of your life, the battle to remain human and loving in a completely inhuman and destructive environment. Welcome to your new life, chain breaker. The world was waiting for you.